In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spaulding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spaulding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed strong leadership.
In 1995, Dr. Vaughn became president and UT began to transform. 1,000 UT students has become 7,200, and we are now entering our 17th consecutive year of record enrollment. All the while, UT's academic profile continues to increase. There has been $350 million in new construction since 2000. We have added 7 new residence halls, academic buildings and labs, as well as athletic facilities. Plant Hall even got new carpet and new windows. UT now has more than 3,000 events annually and 200 clubs and student organizations. We have won 13 NCAA Division II championships, and since 2000, Spartan teams have won 35 Sunshine State Conference titles. As a member of the University of Tampa Spartan family, you are a guiding force behind UT's remarkable success. We are alums, students, parents, and friends, and together we are changing lives. We are individuals, yet the greater whole is only complete when we work together. You have helped make UT a vibrant community with growing resources and a superior reputation. Just like in the beginning when professors worked without pay, the spirit of giving at UT remains strong. Last year, nearly $14 million was donated to the university by thousands of generous supporters. When we strengthen education, we strengthen our job force and our nation as a whole. Donations support academics, campus life, and a student's ability to afford an education. Your participation is what matters most and shows that our Spartan family believes in the future of UT. Whatever level of support, your gift is important to us and enables UT to provide the challenging, high-quality education that has defined our university. Thank you for helping UT achieve such great success.
Graduate School. number 32, Kyle Hornsby. Inside the 30, touchdown. Michaela Burgess. An incredible finish by Hall.
The NCAA and its member schools offer nearly 500,000 college athletes a path to go pro in something other than sports. Learn more at ncaa.org/opportunity.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Good afternoon and welcome to the University of Tampa baseball field. I'm Taylor Storthy, And you are watching the Tampa Spartans take on Valdosta State in intra-conference play. It's a fun rematch between two really strong teams. Valdosta State enters with a 14-8 record this season. They're most recently coming off a tough 13-17 loss against 15-ranked West Georgia in a Gulf South Conference showdown. They split the series 1-2 on the road. Meanwhile, your Tampa Spartans have been coming off a very good run of form. A sweep against Embry-Riddle. Recently, a 9-0 shutout in Game 2 of a doubleheader last weekend. The Spartans carry good momentum in a 5-game winning streak, looking to make it 6 today. Let's give you a quick rundown for the Spartans. Alex Caney gets the start on the mound. The outfield is Luis Rodriguez, Jordan Lala, and E.J. Cumbo. Nunez at third, Urso short, Earhart second, Dosco first. Gutcher behind the plate to form the battery. Garavito will be hitting as the designated hitter. The only change in the field is going to be Gutcher and Garavito's flipping positions, as Garavito won't need to put on the gear today. Alex Caney has had 2 starts and through 16 innings. Not the greatest of outcomes to start the season. He's been BABIP'd to death a few times, but he's got a good 15-3 strikeout to walk ratio. That usually will spell success in the long run for a pitcher, and he'll be hoping to do so this afternoon. Now let's give you the quick rundown for Valdosta State. It's going to be number 5, Crawford, leading off, followed by the shortstop, number 1, Gonzalez. Afterwards, the first baseman, number 26, Gates. Then McArdle, the designated hitter, number 40, in 4th. Kangita hitting in 5th as the left fielder. Stowe, 6th as the second baseman. Gandy, 7th as the right fielder. Harper behind the plate as the catcher in 8th. And Lewis rounds out the lineup as the third baseman. This one's popped over to the infield. Urso calls off Nunez, 1 away on the first pitch. Just the start you need if you're Caney. That'll bring up Gonzalez with 1 away. And by the way, the Spartans, of course, I mentioned they were on the winning streak, but didn't mention yet that they entered the game with a 17-3 record through 20 games. Another great start for Coach Urso's side. The first pitch taken is strike 1. Gonzalez for the season hitting .247. He's also recorded 2 home runs and 15 RBIs, a bit of power behind his bat. He only has 3 extra base hits alongside the home runs. That slider taken for strike 2. As a team, Valdosta State enters the game with a .270 average. Tampa will be leading hitting on that front as they enter with a pretty impressive .338 team batting average. Caney gets him looking, strike 3. So a good start for Caney, getting the first 2 batters retired in order. Valdosta State is a little better on the pitching front. Still not perfect. .428 is their ERA average. Their opponents do have slightly more ERA against them, so they can hit well against them. Tampa's a .288 team average on the season. Or ERA on the season, not the average. Strike 1 taken. Gates, 2 away, no one on. He'll have a chance. The two-way superstar for Valdosta has had a great season. 3 home runs, 19 RBIs. That 19, it puts him among the leaders of the team. He also has a .420 average. And from the mound, he's dealt from the bullpen 17 innings. With only a .306 ERA, 12 walks, 18 strikeouts. Very respectable numbers for a player who can fill out the lineup in both ways. After the foul ball, it's 2-1. This one fouled back again. 2-2 for Caney. That one's fouled away. Gates stays alive. For the season, Gates only has drawn 1 walk, although he has been hit by 4 pitches and 13 strikeouts, but carries a .452 on-base percentage. This one's going to be grounded to Urso. Tampa was playing the shift, and it worked to perfection. The 6-3 ends the inning. 1-2-3 for the Spartans, and their bats are ready to go right after this.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can. And then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision.
That's embarrassing. I didn't realize I was still muted. I apologize. Completely missed the entire intro to the inning. That is, wow. I've never done that, I think, since the soccer season. I may have done that once or twice. But just a quick rundown. Check the stats page for the full lineup as I'll continue here. Marvin De La Hoz is going to be the starting pitcher for Valdosta State, and already had a good start. I mentioned one stat I was worried about was 2 strikeouts to 3 walks is the ratio for that for the year. Through 5 innings, it's not bad, but if that's a trend that continues, that could put him in some trouble as the season progresses. Lala led off and flew out, as you just saw. Earhart up, followed by Urso, Dasco, Garavito, Nunez, Cumbo, Rodriguez, Gutcher. The only change to the Spartans lineup from last weekend is Gutcher taking the start. I mentioned that. He's going to be filling in as the catcher, but Garavito will also play at the DH position. 2-1 fouled away. Taken high. Earhart could work a walk to get on base here. For the season, Earhart's hitting .291, just under .400 with his on-base percentage, Surprisingly lower slugging at 354. He's going to pop this one up. Should be playable by Stowe. Backing up. Gets on top of it. It's always easy to think those fly balls and pop outs are easy outs, but you got to be good enough as an infielder, make a play, and Stowe was tracking back. It was a tricky one to read. The sun could be getting in the way. And speaking of suns, not in terms of the one shining on the field, but rather Coach Urso's son, JD, is back at the plate, and he is having another monster season for the Spartans, continuing to be one of the strongest hitters in the lineup. 370 average, 444 on base percentage, and a 617 slugging. He's one of a few Spartan players to have a 600 slugging, which is really good, and he's going to get on base despite the dive by Gonzalez. 2 away and a runner on. E.J. Dosco takes the plate, and you see he gives a little fist bump on the chest plate to Harper, and there's a reason why. It's a homecoming game in the opposite sense for E.J. Dosco. He transferred from Valdosta State last year, where he won the Gulf South Conference Player of the Year, and he's taken that form and ran with it with the Spartans, having a monster season at the plate, even more so than Urso, hitting .384 with 5 home runs. Leads the team in that category. 17 RBIs. That's third for the Spartans, behind Urso's 28 and Cumbo's 18. But there's one thing that Dosco can do is hit the long ball and hit it far. And even though there's still love for him and Valdosta State and the other way around, they're both hoping that the other doesn't do so well today. The pickoff attempt on Urso, and he's safe. Urso is very much a 5-tool player, and I could argue he can do even more than that. He's had 2 stolen bases this season. Hasn't been caught yet. Second on the team in the category. Third behind Anthony Nunez. Of course, leading is the very speedy Jordan Lala, who's always a threat when he gets aboard. 2-0 taken. That was very close, but just deemed high. Might be disappointing for De La Hoz there. Might be bittersweet for Dosco to face his former teammates. 2-0. This time gets him with the off speed. That was a good curveball and just got him reaching in the dirt. 2-1. Another pickoff attempt. Just want to make sure Urso isn't going to try to steal second base. Well, as the few stolen bases, those have come over the course of 20 games. So he's maybe not the most pressing threat on the base paths, but he does have a sizable lead. Feeds the exact same changeup to get the swing and miss. 2-2. And with 2 away, it would keep the Spartans quiet in the first inning. Garavito was also on deck, and I reckon he'd like to have a chance to try to bring home a run. From the stretch, the 2-2. Misses outside, and Harper is on top of it. And a good job to block that one by Harper. It wasn't, I think, in danger of getting really far away, but when it takes a weird bounce, you can never be too sure that it's not going to go behind and let a runner advance. Full count here for Dosco. I assume Urso's going to be running on this pitch. And he's got him swinging. The third changeup gets the out to end the inning. And all the Spartans get is a hit. Valdosta State keep it clean. They're going to be bringing up their 4, 5, and 6 hitters right after the break.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Graduating this spring, so nice. Tough final semester, so, but we've got everything registered. Not, I mean, I know what I want to do, but yeah, kind of. Exactly. Oh, I agree. Yeah, because like Florida as well, you got so many sports teams, so many stuff to do, so. It'll work out in the end, but always a little tricky. Oh.
I pledged.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team,
And we are back at the University of Tampa Stadium. Top of the second. Spartans got a hit, stranded the runner. Valdosta State wasn't able to get a runner on board. They're going to be hoping to change that. Leading off for the Blazers is going to be their number 40, Sean McArdle. Weird to see him in the number 4 spot in the lineup. He actually hasn't recorded a hit all season. He has gone on base twice, with 2 walks though. He scored twice as well. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. It's a 1-game series between the Spartans and Blazers. Valdosta State is going to travel to Christian Brothers in Memphis next week. Meanwhile, for the Spartans, after this game here, they'll have a rest until the weekend, where they'll travel to Lakeland and face Florida Southern, a longtime foe of the Spartans. 2-2 as this one's fouled away. This one's going to be grounded to Earhart. 1 away. That's a good start to the inning for Caney. A longer at bat, but entering the at bat, he was only 11 pitches, so that's a really good rate to keep going. Kangita is going to enter the game. Giovanni's hitting .281 in the season, a .406 slugging, a .403 on base percentage. And he's going to take all the way for strike 1. He's only brought home 7 RBIs with 1 home run. Overall, not a bad start. 4th in team average. A couple good games could get him over 300. Takes this one outside, 1-1. 2-1 outside. Last season, the regional tournament, Spartans and Blazers faced off, but also more importantly, Caney had a start in one of the biggest wins in Spartan program history against Spring Hill. This one's fouled away. Caney was running a bullpen game there when he only went 2 innings, but throughout the start of this season, he's been trying to get his way into the rotation. And he's done a good job as they're going to switch the ball here. He hasn't, I think, fully solidified himself in the big 3, but remains an active role from the bullpen and as a 4 rotation. So here's the 2-2 to Kangita. This one's grounded up the middle. Urso on the run. And the throw is in time. That was a close one, so I was just waiting for the call to make sure. By the way, it's Christopher Tipton at first base, Joshua Barnes behind home plate for the umpires today. Good play by Urso on the run. The quick throw that was on target to Dosco. 2 away. Urso's really been making some great defensive plays at short. Here's Stowe now at the plate. That one gets away from Gutcher for ball 1. Stowe, another player who hasn't had a lot of at-bats this season. He's done decently so far, hitting .250 and good on-base and slugging numbers for the start of his season. 20 at-bats, over 400 in both those other categories. It's probably the reason that Valdosta State has brought him up as the sixth hitter here. Fouled away, so it's 2-1. Kane's fallen behind a few times in counts today, but he's usually battled back and either got the strikeout or forced weak contact. 2 away, he just needs to do that one more time to get out of another inning. Try to get the Spartans bats aboard. He could have just gotten it. This one's popped up. Dosko tracking. He's going to pull away for Earhart. And that ends the inning. 1, 2, 3. Quick outs in play. And the Spartans will once again step up to the plate. We'll be back with more Spartans baseball right after this.
And tutoring services.
Santiago Garavito leading off for the Spartans. They got a base runner but couldn't bring him home. And El Garavito would have loved the opportunity. We'll see if he's got a chance to do so here. Start the offense. Potentially get aboard. He's hitting .362 this season. That number should go up. But no, it won't. It was hard to track that fly ball. That had the characteristics of a potential moonshot, but it did look like Kangita had that read from the first second, although he did have to change course as it did move a little bit to the right. So disappointing for Garavito. He hit that one hard. Anthony Nunez steps up. He's batting 6th in the lineup, and, well, you shouldn't be treating the 6th batter with any disrespect because, well, Nunez, he's hitting .364 on the season. Only one home run this season. That came out on the road against Mississippi College a weekend or two ago. But he's been pretty good, over 900 on OPS and playing good defense at third base. I think for most other teams throughout the conference and even potentially throughout D2, he'd be a lock for a 3, 4, or 5 hitter. We just have a lot of good bats with the Spartans. Nunez already ahead 2-0 against De La Hoz. And 3-0 now. Could be the first batter walked in the game. De La Hoz has battled back from high ball counts before. And I know Nunez is going to get a take all the way for this pitch. This time he does locate the zone. 3-1. Cumbo, Rodriguez, and Gutcher are all really good hitters so far this season. So a walk isn't safe for any Spartan batter. The count goes full after the foul ball. Not sure if that's going to be a souvenir. I think it did because it hasn't rolled back onto play yet. When it does, you normally see Dalton Ross who's been a workhorse reliever for the Spartans, but also a workhorse ball receiver. Usually running out behind the plate to get him. It's a task shared by a lot of players, but Ross always does it with enthusiasm. I like to bring it up. That was hit to third, and Lewis makes the play. Had to do a little 360 spin, but gets the out. 2 away quickly in the bottom of the second. Here comes E.J. Cumbo. Cumbo having a monster campaign. The only 400 hitter at 423 through 20 games. He's also had 3 home runs and 18 RBIs. Not perfect on the base path, unfortunately. That may be the only downside of his game all season. And that is a very minor one, because Coach Urso usually finds a lot of success with small ball stolen bases. Cumbo's been great in right field. I don't think there's anything this player really can't do. He gets ahead 2-0 here. I'll say De La Ho's playing with a pretty fast pace of play. He's not always stepped back and taken a second. That sets him up well if he wants an MLB career, but of course, the MLB has instituted the pitch clock. 3-0. I went to a spring training game. Yankees were facing the Cardinals and got beat after, unfortunately, Wandy Peralta got taken deep on a 3-run homer. But the pitch clock really didn't impact the game at all. I didn't actually see a pitch count strike or ball get called all game, which is surprising. I would have expected potentially one. Cumbo, this time swinging on the 3-0. The count goes 3-1. Ball 4. Cumbo is able to get on base. That brings up Rodriguez, the Florida Gulf Coast transfer. He's had a strong start to his season. Had an injury that kept him out early in the year, but he's hit the ground running. 16 at-bats, he's recorded 16 hits, 4 of them doubles, and he's brought home 4 runs while doing so. He's also played good defense, and while he's an infielder by trade, he's out in left field because, well, we have got way too many infielders here at the University of Tampa. But he's done well out in the corner so far. And it's good that Urso knows he can fill in whenever he wants to give Urso and Nunez a rest, or even potentially Earhart. Or if you really want to get risky, you put Earhart behind the plate, and then you put Urso at second and Rodriguez at short. That is a move that also works. A lot of fun Urso can have with a lineup if he chooses. 0-1 to Rodriguez. De La Hoz finally gets ahead in the count for the first batter of the night. And this one's fouled away. It's 0-2. De La Hoz actually might have gotten ahead in the at-bat against Dosco on a 2-2 count before. It was the first time this inning he's actually been seriously ahead. There's a chance to get out of the inning here with a runner aboard. In the dirt, tried getting him with that changeup that got Dosco earlier. 1-2. Wonder if Cumbo will take a lead. He's been sitting back. Now he has it. Misses inside. That was a close one, but just to the inside there. Rodriguez was actually backing off the plate as well after the pitch. But that's a pitch I've seen go 50-50 on rare occasions. So not the easiest one to call a ball. 2-2. Good discipline by Rodriguez to hold up. Barnes wanted to check with Tipton, and Tipton confirmed that it was a check swing. And from up here, it looked like a very, very safe check swing. I think he held up with more than enough distance and leeway. Full count. Cumbo probably in motion. Would be wise to with 2 away. Worst case scenario, it's a strikeout, and he just walks back to the dugout. This one's going to be sent to center field. But tracking back is Crawford. Makes the catch at the warning track. And that'll end the inning. For the Spartans, they get a runner on once again. But once again, that runner is not going anywhere. We won't be going anywhere either. We'll be back right after the break with the top of the third inning.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
College sports.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
A return to normal, and all we love about sports.
You've instilled resilience, focus, and selflessness in us. We've put those lessons to work.
We've found strength and unity in each other.
You continue to take us places we never imagined.
You bring out the best in us.
So when we look forward, we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
We see a better world for all of us and for college sports.
There, down. Ashton Pokel enters the game. And I was thinking that Caney was going to go a little longer, but Tampa actually is running more of a bullpen game today. Anyway, all the bullpen arms would be fully rested for the weekend series. Wonder if Valdosta State is planning the same. This gives Pokel a chance to shine. He's had 3 appearances. One of them was a start through 9 innings. He's had 8 strikeouts, 4 walks, only 2 earned. That gives him a perfect 2.0 ERA because he's only pitched 9 innings. Gandy leads off for Valdosta State to start the inning. 7-8-9 as the Blazers haven't got a runner aboard yet. Now, knowing my tendency to jinx the game, I expect Gandy to probably get on with a first pitch single here. A lefty, righty, and lefty is going to be what going to be what Pokel will have to face to start his outing. Taken high for ball 1. Gandy hitting .227 this season, but .555 slugging. So while he doesn't always get on base, he's going to give you a lot of power behind his bat. Whether it hits to the gap or leaves the yard is going to be yet to be seen today. He's had 2 triples, 2 doubles, 5 home runs. He leads the team in that category. As you know, Valdosta State needed a power void to be filled with Dosco's departure. And Gandy, so far, hasn't been too bad in doing so. Pokel is going to get a weak grounder. Earhart makes the play. While Gandy was doing a good job to run it out, he's going to be out by a step. Harper is going to step up and get in that bat here. He's hitting .339 this season, tied for the team lead with 19 RBIs. He also has 2 home runs and 21 hits. He's recorded a .500 slugging and a .408 on-base percentage. He's going to take strike 1 here from Pokel. That one looked to be in the zone, but the ump is going to say just a bit high. However, he instead goes over to first to see if Harper swung. And Barnes says, yes, he did. So I believe it'll actually be 0-2. 0-2 from Pokel. He's got him looking with the slider. A filthy one in the top corner of the plate. That's Pokel's first strikeout. 2 away for Lewis. You got him looking on the front door. And now he's got one more lefty to face. Could see another 1-2-3 inning for the Spartans. But Valdosta State gets aboard with a line drive up the middle. That's a catchable ball, but no one's in position to do it. Lala's in front to keep it as a single. Top of the order, Crawford is up with a runner on base. Both the Spartans and Valdosta State now are 1 for 3 when there's been 2 outs in the game. I know Polka would like that number to drop to 1 for 4. By the way, series history, Valdosta State and Tampa. Tampa's 34-22 all-time against the Blazers. Their most recent game I'll talk about a little later. It's a reason the Blazers will be hungry for some revenge here in Tampa. And by the way, if you're just noticing on the field, it is indeed a turf field. Tampa made the change over the winter, so for any Valdosta State fans who hadn't noticed, well, Tampa recently made the change, and it's been a fun change so far. I know it's certainly helped the Spartans staff and people who help run the laundry, because uniforms will stay a lot cleaner than they would on the standard dirt fields you normally see. This one, another line shot straight to center field. Lala's on top of it, and while he does bobble it, his arm is enough of a threat to make it so Lewis has to stay at second. That'll bring up Gonzalez with 2 aboard. Gonzalez has had 15 RBIs. If he can find the barrel, just like his 2 teammates have, he'd be bringing home a run and a lead for the Blazers. This one's going to be grounded to Nunez, who will take the easy force out at third. So Tampa concedes 2 hits. But other than that, Hochul keeps it quiet. We'll be back at the bottom of the third in just a second. Due up is the 9 1-2 hitters.
NCAA Division II community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because students.
But in the Steeler way of staying over 500. Bottom of the third inning. Danny Gutcher leads off for the Spartans. The recent Eckerd transfer has had a good start to the year. He's been the backup for Garavito, but that doesn't mean he's been playing like one. He has been doing very well with a .282 average, .410 slugging, and .391 on-base percentage. By the way, those numbers are under the team average in every statistic, so that should tell you just how good the Spartans' offense is. When a player is putting up a 800 OPS and a near 300 average, that's a really good season. But for Tampa, we're just on an excellent program, and Gutcher has also been excellent. He's come out through with multiple clutch hits and good performances. Unfortunately, his first at-bat will end in a ground out. Tried to run it out, but he's out by a step. Good effort on the base path, though. Jordan Lala gets another chance. His first at-bat ended in the way he did not want to, with an out. Have another chance facing off against De La Hoz, the starter who's going to stay in for Valdosta. While Tampa was looking for a bullpen game, Hochul's probably going to go a couple innings. Valdosta State has an empty bullpen, letting their starter cook. Ball 1 taken high. 5:39, soon to change to 40 p.m. here, and still looking beautiful out here. Just a week ago, this would have been a 4 p.m. game, but daylight saving times gives us a little more daylight here for the game. Lala's up 3-0 in the count. He could draw a walk. De La Hoz has not been bad with his command today. He's only conceded the 1 walk earlier. But this will be the second. And if he was worried about Urso in the base paths, I have a feeling we're going to see even more checks over to first base. Because Lala has put up 13 stolen bases on the season. Leads the team by a whopping 8 in that category. The only player that's close is Jose Cadenas. Usually a pinch fielder, sometimes a pinch runner, and even comes in for a few at-bats from time to time. Drew Earhart popped out last time. Runner on, 1 away. Lala safe at first on the check. This one lands in the zone for strike one. Tampa's got 3 base runners so far. Valdosta State has had 2. It's been a pitcher's duel, and we're going to see a few more pitchers enter the fray as time goes on. Fouled away, it'll go 0-2. The infield playing neutral for Earhart. No serious shift, but I do notice if Earhart's able to push the ball the other way, it would get through the gap that Stowe and Gates has. Stowe is playing a little more aggressively at second. I think more so covering the steal attempt that could be coming from Lala than actually trying to play a shift. Could do both, however. By the way, that one missed high as Lala took another big lead. 2-1 here, not 1-2. Or no, sorry, 1-2 off the previous foul ball, strike 2. And there, Earhart goes down swinging. That'll bring up J.D. Urso. Second strikeout of the game for De La Hoz. Urso now. He had a hit earlier in the game. It was the first hit of the night for either team. It was a single where he ultimately got left there. Now he's going to try to keep being alive with Jordan Lala. And, of course, the former Blazer Dosco on deck. The changeup has been good for De La Hoz all night, 0-1. I don't know why I'm saying night yet. At the rate we're going, we probably won't see the sunset. Another pickoff attempt, but Lala is safe. If Lala gets picked off, it's not the biggest end of the world, as then you just have the 3-4-5 hitters ready to go in the next inning. But of course, certainly like with a runner aboard to try to convert. Here's the 0-1 from the stretch. Wanted to make sure Lala won't steal. 1-0. One and one now, with another player with 2 1s on the jersey on first base, or at the plate. Lala gets a second as this one falls out of Harper's glove. He was up quickly, but just couldn't get the transfer because he didn't have a hold of it. Went a little too early. 2-1 now, and Lala has stolen his 14th base this season. He will be running on any contact. And now you see Stowe even more aggressively to second, ready for a potential pickoff throw. This one grounded to short. The throw was on time and on target. Good play by Gonzalez. That'll end the inning. Spartans once again get a base runner, but once again can't bring him home. We'll be back right after this.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's
leading off for Valdosta State is Gates. The 3-4-5 hitters for Valdosta will get a chance. This one taken low for ball 1. Polkel back on the mound. Surrendered 2 hits with 2 outs back in the third in his first inning of work. But other than that, it looked really good. This could be the 3rd hit, but Rodriguez is able to track it down. That type of trajectory is weird because you don't know whether it's going to go deep or go short. Good play by Rodriguez to get on top for the first out. Here's the one away, the first pitch up high to McArdle. There will be some bad blood, I think. Not necessarily in terms of actual beef, but Valdosta State will want revenge against the Spartans, as this one's going to be out number 2 to Earhart. Last season, these two teams faced in the regional tournament. In the losers bracket, Valdosta State lost the first game to Nova Southeastern. Tampa lost their second game against Nova Southeastern. And after Valdosta State eliminated Spring Hill, they were in a sudden death match between themselves and the Spartans. Winner goes on, loser goes home, and Tampa took the victory. They would then sweep Nova Southeastern in the next two games to advance to the Super Regional, where they would host and sadly take 2 losses to Rollins to end the season. The Blazers would like revenge for that defeat, and they could get it today. 2-0 now early to Kanahita, or Kanagita, I believe. I'm not fully sure how to pronounce. I do apologize. 3-0. Polkle has not found the zone yet against him. Grounded out to Urso last time. It was when he hit into the shift. That is very active. And they're actually going to work around him, ball 4. He's a big power threat, so honestly you can't blame it with 2 away. That'll bring up Stowe. Now I think the reason you move Stowe, who's had a decent start to the season here in the lineup, is probably because you want to discourage people trying to walk one of your best power hitters. I actually apologize. It's actually Gandy on deck who's the team's leading power hitter. And confused with the 1 and 2 there. Kanagita again hit home runs, though. We had one earlier this season. As a team, the Blazers have had 16. Now, Tampa's, I think, a somewhat neutral ballpark. We're not necessarily too home run friendly or home run unfriendly. Grounded to Nunez and will go foul, but Nunez was ready to make the throw. Say an interesting choice, of course, to see different hitters in the middle of the order, because you'd assume sometimes other players might be up earlier. Fouled away again. It's still 0-2. For instance, if you take a look at the stats, I personally think I'd probably put Gandy as the second, third, or even fourth hitter in the lineup because he's been off to a monster start this season. This one grounded. Oh, and it's going to bounce off of Polkle's glove. But he makes the play. Wow. I was certain that Stowe was going to be safe. But a great recovery by Polkle to get the final out. And maybe was by half a step at most. That ends the top of the 4th. We're entering the bottom of the 4th here. Tampa and Valdosta still tied.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can. And then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready? Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder.
Valdosta's been utilizing well against the Spartans hitters. But I know Doska will be hungry to get aboard here. It's him, Garavito, and Nunez leading off for the Spartans this inning. Ooh, a little bit of sweet chin music inside. The 1-0. The changeup again. That's the third time that Doska has gone for it. He keeps reading fastball. That shows you the changeup's working. This one's going to be grounded, and it gets through by Lewis. And 1 on to start the inning. That's one of the first times the Spartans have actually recorded a leadoff hit. That's the second hit of the game for the Spartans. Previous runners gone on with walks. Garavito's now up. Garavito's also another dangerous hitter. The 4.56 is very good for the Spartans. So is the 7.89, and so is the 1.23. Taken for strike one. Garavito pops this one up. It's playable for Crawford or Kangita. And the left fielder gets on top of it. Good play there by Giovanni. One away for Nunez. Tampa's 0 for 4 with runners on base. Make that 0 for 5 after the Garavito pop out. Valdosta State's 1 for 3 with runners on, thanks to the 2 hits they had last time. One of those hits came with a runner aboard. Now let's see if Tampa can get a hit with a runner aboard. Nunez pops this one up, and this should be out number 2 for Stowe. Nunez at bat ends quickly. That brings up E.J. Cumbo, the lefty power hitter. Second in RBIs. You get a shot with 2 away. It's only 5:54 p.m. We had a 5 p.m. start time, and we're almost halfway through the game. That's how you can tell it's been a pitcher's duel. But of course, everyone hates when I say it, but these teams stay tied. We'd also have extra innings. And it feels like neither team has really been able to get the advantage. De La Hoz might not go forever, though. Valdosta State does have a player warming up in the bullpen. They check on Dosko, and he is safe. 55 pitches for De La Hoz entering the at-bat. With the 1-0 count, here comes number 57. Outside for ball 2. Rodriguez and Gutcher would be leading off the next inning. For Valdosta State, Gandy opens up the 7-8-9 hitters. Tried to frame it, 3-0. He was taking all the way, and he's going to take strike one. Ball 4. The third walk De La Hoz has given up. 2 on with 2 away. And is there signaling to the bullpen? I did see the coach saying something, but unless another runner gets aboard, they're not going to make the change yet. Here's Luis Rodriguez, flew out to center in his first at-bat. But no, they actually will make the change. They were waiting a second to get him get a few more pitches in. With the head coach coming to the mound, De La Hoz is
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are
And if I get a chance, I might ask him about that game and what made North Dakota State so mad at him to hit him 4 times in the span of 9 innings. 2 away now, 2 aboard. Rodriguez has a chance to give the Spartans a lead. Flew out last time. He's hit pretty well to start the season. Let's see if he continues it here. Takes that one low for ball 1. Would not be surprised if he takes until Ferrara throws a strike. Not always a bad idea to, when you're facing a new pitcher, to let him prove to you that he can put it over the plate. Tried again, but the slider guts low, 2-0. The turn to second actually caught Dosco off guard, but wasn't able to get it. (3-0). Did not like the changeup there. Gutcher is on deck. It's going to be take all the way for Rodriguez. It would load the bases for the Spartans. That one, a fastball right down the middle. And I think you could guess that was the pitch he was going to look for. Now a 3-1 pitch here. The big question is, what do you throw here? Do you risk walking him? Do you risk letting him put the ball in play? As a pitcher, you have to trust your defense. See if Ferrara does so. This time the slider is strike 2, and Rodriguez did not know. He actually tossed his bat and was ready to undo his leg guard. That was close, but I do have to agree with the umpire here. Not only will you not get away with arguing with City Hall, that looked to just be in the zone on a nice front door pitch. 3-2 now for Rodriguez. He's got 2 on. Ferrara gets a sign he likes, and now from the stretch. Got him. Valdosta State gets out of the jam. 2 aboard for the Spartans, but 2 will go home without making it home. Top of the 5th coming up right after this.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
I
am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
I
am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
We're back at the University of Tampa. Still tied entering the top of the 5th inning. Jack Brodsky enters the game for the Spartans. My suspicions about a bullpen game are proven right. Brodsky's had a good season coming in from the bullpen as strike 1 is taken. Hasn't conceded a run in 7 appearances. He also has recorded a save, 10 strikeouts to only 2 walks allowed. I think he'll be tasked with 2 innings potentially, maybe even 3 here. And 0-2 now. Gandy looking back to the dugout. I think he was a little disappointed. That one was a close one for strike 2. And now the 0-2. Fouled away. Important to protect with a 2-strike count. And he did so there. Gandy is the best hitter as mentioned previously for Valdosta State. In terms of power, hitting .545, slugging with 5 home runs on the season. Out of 15 hits, 4 of them have been extra bases, 5 of them home runs. More likely to get an extra base hit from him than a single. 1-2. Fouled back, barely keeping alive as Gutcher can't find it. As a team, Valdosta State with a .359 on-base percentage. Trails the Spartans by about 70 points. It's a good idea on the curve, but didn't get the swing from Gandy. 2-2. Strike three, he's got him. That was a good high fastball. And by the way, the most important thing for a fielder or player out on the field, surprisingly not, isn't position, isn't readiness. It's making sure your shoes are tied. Brodsky was just checking and making sure he double knotted and he would be ready in case he needed a run for a ground ball. We saw Pokel do in the previous inning. Harper now up. It's the 7, 8, 9 hitters entering this inning. And now we're ready to go. Took an extra second to get set in the box. One and one. By the way, thinking back at it, players wear cleats, not sneakers. That's kind of funny. 1 and 1. That one's grounded to Urso. Makes the play. 2 away to start the inning. A good start from Brodsky. Lewis steps up. He's 1 for 1. He got the first hit of the game for Valdosta State last time. And he was in the same spot with 2 away in the 3rd inning. He's now up a few batters sooner, so he gets a chance in the top of the 5th. One and one here. Very close call. Taken up high, ball 2. Two and 2. That one came back into the stands in the worst way. Heard a couple collective oohs from the crowd. Another foul one, this one straight back. Here's the 2-2. One more time. Brodsky gets him with the slider. That'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3 with 2 strikeouts. And Brodsky cooking out of the bullpen. We'll be back right after this.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa. This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa. This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa. This is the University of Tampa.
Danny Gutcher leads off for the Spartans. Let me just try something. Okay. Gutcher's going to take ball one. Ferrara got the out last time with a pretty clutch strikeout with 2 aboard. And his outing from the bullpen will continue. 2-0. To Gutcher. They've got Lala on deck, and the 1-2-3 hitters could potentially have a chance if Gutcher is able to get on base. That time down the middle, it's 3-1. Took 6 pitches from Ferrara to get out of the first inning. The first out. He's already at 4 for this at bat. Wonder if he's going to need 6 to try to retire Gutcher. This time it's just a hard ground to the third, but out in plenty of time. Good play by Lewis. Jordan Lala now up 1 away. Walked back in the 3rd inning. Flew out in the 1st inning. Certainly due for a hit. And I'd say the entire team is definitely due for a hit at some point. They've only had 2 in the entire game. In fact, there have only been 4 hits in total. If you've come here expecting an offensive explosion, well, unfortunately, the bats have been quiet. It's been the arms that have been heating up and continue to do so. 0-1 now to Lala. In the dirt, ball 1. The 2 Spartan hits came from Urso and Dasco. A couple other Spartan batters got on base with a walk. Fouled away. Two strikes. I believe it'll be a 1-2 count to Lala. So Ferrara now the 1-2. Fouled away. And there's a race. Who can win it? Polkel gets to the ball in time. It was between him and Beckett White trying to get the foul ball. That just happens outside the camera range in the foul territories. Sadly, cannot see that on stream with how our camera is positioned. 2-2 with the ball taken low. So I'll have to tell you what's going on there. Usually the bullpen for the Spartans will be on the left side, but this year they've put it behind the fence. I do see a ball going back and forth. They might be warming someone up. Full count to Jordan Lala. Earhart on deck again. And did he hold up? Yes, he did. Barnes wanted the second opinion from Tipton. And that was a close one. It was a check swing. But the good news for Lala is that he held up just enough. One on for Earhart, one away. The amount of base runners we've seen This is one of the first times we've seen a true double play opportunity in the game. Hopefully Earhart can avoid it. Checking on Lala. He's safe. He stole a base earlier in the game. It's not a surprise to see Ferrara making sure that Lala isn't going. They got the big 4 leadoff hitters for the Spartans. In the field of play. 2 of them in the circle. Or on deck getting warmed up. I think here's the first pitch now to Earhart. That's a breaking ball, but he takes it in the zone for strike 1. It's good curveball, just getting the low part of the zone. And always good to just take the first pitch, see what he's throwing. It's the first time that Earhart's faced off against the new Valdosta State pitcher outside for ball 1. Spartans team has really had a lot of offense. Last time they were held to under 8 runs was against Mississippi College twice in their weekend series. Lala goes for second, and he is safe. The throw was close, but the tag wasn't made in time. Good effort there, I think, by Stowe. Actually, hold on. I think that's Stowe at second. It might be hard. It looks like there's only a single digit on the jersey. At least from this distance. I'll have to double check that a little bit later on. Lala at second. 1-2 to Earhart. Slider outside and misses the zone. That's a bait pitch there to try to get the swing and miss. Try to get Ferrara's second strikeout of the game. Double play opportunities pretty much dead and buried with the stolen base. This one's grounded, and Lala is going to go to third. The throw to first is in time, so it works as a sacrifice in a way. 2 away for J.D. Urso. Lala's now just 90 feet from home. He'll be running on anything Urso puts in play, and Urso, he knows how to put things in play with runners aboard. Leads the team with 28 RBIs. That's a lot, especially when it's a 10-point gap to second place. E.J. Cumbo is 18 on the season. 1-0 taken. Very close that time. Not be surprised there were a few groans from Blazer fans that one. And I think there was indeed a switch over at second. It's looking further out. It certainly isn't the 25 of Stowe. That time the slider did miss. For what it looks like, I believe it might be the number 4 or number 6 for Valdosta State. It would likely be Kevin Taylor in that case. Taken again, 3-0 to Urso. And I do think that being cautious against Urso is a good idea. You then have to be aggressive against Dosco. And while they're both good hitters, with the way that Dosco's been hitting, I'd rather face Urso in this spot. Ferrara finds the strike zone. It's 3-1. For J.D. Urso. In the dirt, and that's ball 4. And I will say, Harper, he needs to be alert with that runner on third. If it gets away from him, Lala's got the speed to make it home safe and give the Spartans a lead. And this is actually going to be a mound visit, unless they make a different change from, say, the dugout, because they don't have any pitchers warming up in the bullpen. But their head coach is going to check in with Ferrara as Dosco gets ready here. This is the stuff you want to see. Dosco facing his old team gets 2 aboard with 2 outs in a tied game. It's only the bottom of the 5th inning. And I have to say, a little surprised to say only. We've actually gone pretty fast here. Only an hour and 20 minutes through. It slowed down a little bit through the middle innings. Tampa, with Brodsky on the mound, was able to have a quick top half of the inning. This bottom half has been one of the longest of the day. So now Ferrara's got the game plan and how he's going to uniforms from time to time. Instead of Tampa, or instead of Valdosta, it's Tampa embroidered onto his jersey. 1-0 taken low. I'll say Tampa pitchers have actually found those low strikes a little more often than now Valdosta State in the game. That one I think was a bit too low. Dasco takes, and this one is strike one. Whether it was a slider or curve, either way it broke into the plate and into the zone. He got a single last time and struck out back in the first inning. First chance to face Ferrara, though. Low 2-1. With this spot, they have to be ready for Urso on the base paths. It's a risky spot to send him with 2 away. But we've seen before, Urso sends the runner, and then the runner from third can get home after a bad throw to second. Now the 2-1 to Dasco. 3-1. Walking the bases loaded would not be ideal. And also, again, still no one warming up, so I don't think they'd realistically have someone ready to make a change. When the bases loaded, you don't want to bring on a player who only gets the 8 warm-up pitches for entering the game. Dasco went for it. It was a good idea to go for it in this count. You have to expect a strike. Might have gone in the zone if he took it. 3-2, full count. The biggest payoff pitch of the game so far. This one ripped into the gap. The Spartans won't take the lead on the running catch from Ken Gita. And that's a good run because that was well hit. I think 7 times out of 10 that drops in the gap and the Spartans take the lead. But unfortunately for the Spartans, 2 runners are stranded as Kangita makes the play. Will enter the top of the 6th tied.
Treasure with potential.
Entering the game for the Spartans, it is the man who always comes in when Urso needs outs no matter what. It's Braden Nelson. He's had a good start to the season, and this will be a good start. Chopped to Earhart, 1 away. Braden Nelson has been absolutely deadly on the mound. The only downside is he's given up a few bad home runs. He's only conceded 8 runs in 18 innings, 23 strikeouts to only 6 walks, a 3.93 ERA. He's had 7 appearances, only 1 save, but again, in those high leverage spots, he's picked up 3 wins. Tampa's a team that doesn't always win in a save opportunity, so that doesn't give a lot of saves to Nelson. But again, the save, I think, is a stat that's not going to be as important as the future of the MLB goes on. You don't always have teams that run closers. Well, doing a closer is always a good idea, and Nelson's certainly the team's closer in that regard. Urso will pull him in whenever he feels the team can use his services. He's a workhorse reliever who can go the distance. Again, he's played 7 games. He's had 18 innings. He's gone multiple innings throughout the majority of his outings. And Urso will definitely be hoping he can get through 6, 7, and potentially 8. In the playoffs last season, he had a 5-inning game. That one's low. It's 3-1. Rare to see him fall behind the count early here as he's working against Gonzalez. Crawford led off with the ground out on the very first pitch. Ball 4, this one just inside. Second walk of the game, the Spartans have given up. Now a chance for Nelson to work his way out of the situation as J.D. Gates steps up. Gates, the two-way superstar, has been the best hitter this season for Valdosta State. Not a surprise to see him batting 3 here. What I find interesting today for Valdosta State is the loss of Jacob Sessa. Not sure whether it's injury or not, but he's been a very good hitter for Valdosta State. Pickoff attempt on Gonzalez, worried about a potential base-stealing threat. Gonzalez does have a little lead. This one's going to be grounded to Earhart. Flips it to Nunez. It's a 4-5-3 double play. The shift added the number 5 instead of the 6 for that one. And Nelson's quickly out of the inning. After conceding the walk, he gets the early double play, and we'll enter the bottom of the 6th, still tied at 0. We are back, bottom of the 6th. Zane Stevens enters the game for Valdosta State. He has a 4.38 ERA, 10 strikeouts to 2 walks. He's come into the game 6 times from the bullpen, and he'll be tasked with keeping the Spartans' 5, 6, and 7 hitters quiet. It has been a true pitcher's duel with many pitchers joining the fray. Stevens is just the new member to enter the game. Wow, that was a very good slider that absolutely had Garavito spinning. He was looking completely fastball on that one. absolutely ridiculous break on that pitch, and it's 0-2 as this one landed right down the middle. Can't blame Garavito for taking. That looked like the same exact spot, but it was two very different ones. Well, Garavito wanted the fastball, but just can't get enough under it. One away. You could tell Garavito knew that was a pop out from, well, fly out. It wasn't that short, as he had to spike his bat down. But tough at bat there for the Spartan designated hitter today. See if Nunez fares any better. The switch hitter again on the left side. Rodriguez will be on deck. Or Cumbo will be on deck. Nunez actually went for a bunt, but takes for strike one as the slider landed in the zone. 0-1. Ooh, wow. That one looked like strike two as a train is passing through. We are also right next to a railroad at the University of Tampa. Now 1-2, the slider taken right down the middle. I'll say the train that's passing through is actually small. I believe only 4 cars on it. Maybe you saw it as it was passing through very deep left field. But it'll be it honks a few times as it passes through. And this one's taken low. It actually distracted me from the at-bat. It's a full count now for Anthony Nunez. Strike 3, and Nunez was ready for ball 4. I think it was a pitch similar to that was called for a ball earlier in the at-bat. That's probably the reason Nunez is a little disappointed. Cumbo up with 2 away. A good start for Stevens from the bullpen. Could be set for a tied game entering the 7th inning. Would be one of the longest scoreless ties, I think, of the season for the Spartans. And wow, that one was a little high. In the MLB, Aaron Judge is very tall, and because of that reason, he has a very big strike zone. Sometimes he gets calls that go against him because, well, it'd be a strike for any other batter. Cumbo, I think that first pitch had a fastball that was the other way. This time he's going to have to bite on the 0-2 slider, swing and a miss. Stevens gets 2 strikeouts on a quick inning, top of the 7th, and we are still tied.
In the late 1920s, the prospect of a Hillsborough High student enrolling in college was bleak. The nation was in the throes of the Great Depression. Businesses were failing, and many of Tampa's beautiful waterfront homes were left abandoned. The principal at Hillsborough High, Frederick Spalding, didn't see these barriers. He only saw bright young students who were in need of a place to continue their learning. In 1931, collegiate-level courses were offered at Hillsborough High. This would later become the University of Tampa. On August 2, 1933, Spalding arrived at the doors of Plant Hall with a 100-year lease from the city and a firm resolve, and with the turn of a key, opened the door to the University of Tampa. In its fledgling years, UT was fortunate if it could collect half of the tuition due from its students. It was only through the dedication of its professors, who worked without pay, that the university survived the Great Depression. Over the next several decades, UT grew slightly, enrolling up to 1,800 at times, starting several sports teams, and even began accepting students from other areas of the country. But in the early 90s, the growth seemed to stand still, even stop. UT needed new life, some passion. UT needed...
Well, I made a guess that Nelson would be tasked with going for multiple innings. I was wrong. I think Urso just wants him 100% for the weekend series, as now we're going to see Paul Sullivan enter the game for the Spartans. ERA. He's had 7 appearances from the bullpen. 14 innings pitched, 17 strikeouts to 3 walks. And by the way, if you want to know why I'm not a huge fan of record to determine the success of a pitcher, Well, Sullivan's had 2 losses this season, despite having those really good stats. I think Sullivan's going to hope to try to keep Valdosta State quiet here. McArdle, Kangita, and Taylor, who came in as a pinch fielder, are due on deck. Strike one taken. And McArdle is trying to argue he wasn't ready for that first pitch. He wanted to call time. But he didn't. Didn't get it off. It's 0-1. This one ripped up the middle. Urso almost had a play on it, but just eludes his glove. It's a leadoff single. First hit for Valdosta State in a few innings. That's going to bring up Kangita now. Kangita's 0 for 1 today, but he drew a walk back in the 4th. We'll have a runner on base, and they're actually going to bring on a pinch runner. They're bringing on number 42, Orlando Adams. They're going to try to manufacture a run any way they can. So my guess here, Kangita is going to bunt down the third base line to try to get Adams to second. Valdosta State, I think, is going to try to use small ball here. And you're already seeing Nunez playing in. Tampa's got to be ready with their bunt defense. First one taken as a strike. I will say good to see Sullivan. Not too worried. He's still throwing hard. Throwing for the zone. It's important to not let a runner get to your head. And even for a potential bunt, you have to win the mental game. Pickoff throw, he's safe. As much as it is a physical game of throwing, swinging, running, and fielding, well, it's also a very mental game. Here's the 0-1. Kangita not actually going for the bunt. He went for a swing. So they were just putting a faster runner in case they do bring a ball to the outfield again. 0-2 now to Kangita. Taylor's on deck. Another pickoff, but the runner is safe. Adams is 1 for 1 in stolen bases this season. He's played in he's played in 8 games, and 5 times he's started. Kangita keeps alive in the foul ball. Fouled away. The 0-2 again now. Kangita keeping alive, another foul ball. Swung on and missed. It took a few pitches, but Sullivan gets the strikeout. Kangita held in the at-bat quite a long time, but not long enough to get on base. And here comes another change for Valdosta State. This time they're going to be bringing in another pinch hitter. It looks like number 20, which would be Reynal Ortiz. He's 4 for 7 in his 7 at-bats. He's come on as a pinch hitter 7 times with a double. One away, one on. Randall Ortiz at the plate. As a lefty pinch hitter. Taken to first and safe. The pickoffs haven't worked yet. Yeah, they're just going to make sure they're staying quiet on the base paths. Wonder if Adams is going to try to steal a base here. Well, he won't have to. This one drifted too far inside. The slider missing and hitting Ortiz. That brings up Gandy with 2-1. And that's really scary now because Gandy is one of the best power hitters for Valdosta State. He doesn't always hit for average. And are they actually going to pinch hit Gandy? No, they might just be bringing on another hitter on deck. That's not as a surprise. Let's see. Okay, so yes, it's another pinch runner. So just as soon as Ortiz gets into the game as a pinch hitter, he gets hit by a pitch and then is pulled for a pinch runner. It's Preston Joy who's going to get on the base paths now. Valdosta is desperate to get a run. They've got some fast runners on base. Offered at it, and you can see Gutcher a little disappointed. He was hoping that was strike one. I personally was too. But it's going to be 1-0. I'm a little surprised that he actually didn't check the other umpire on the swing there. He's done that on swings from the Spartans that were nowhere near swings. That time he's going to get the whiff, 1-1. I don't have the split stats up here, but I have to assume Gandy. Not sure if Gandy's a better player with runners in scoring position or without. 2-1 now inside. Don't think anyone's warming up in the bullpen for the Spartans. Urso's trusting Sullivan. Now this is the spot where you'd love to have Nelson ready to put in the game as an emergency outlet. Got him that time with a changeup. It's 2-2. This is the longest inning the Spartans have had on the mound with two quick base runners from Valdosta State. One of them in scoring position. One of the first times we've seen a runner in scoring position for the Blazers. They'll turn one. Not enough time on the throw for Urso. He wasn't going to risk it. That'll be disappointing for Sullivan, but they do get the first out. And second on that play. The one out is important. It gives Harper a harder job. He can't bring a run home on a sacrifice. Here's Harper. He's 0 for 2 today. And Sullivan, I know, is probably going to have to try to strike him out here. Still a tied game. Runners on first and third. First pitch taken for strike one. Now the 0-1 count. Actually, maybe that's just the scoreboard that's not letting... Oh, never mind. Sometimes the scoreboard might have some visual difficulties. We apologize. You're checking. 0-1 now. Runner goes, and Gutcher stays on top of it. He was ready to go to the throw a little too quickly. Say, not having the force out at second isn't the worst thing in the world. It's a 1-1 count, I believe. No, 0-2, he actually swung that time. Sometimes you can miss it as you're looking for the throw. The 0-2. Got him! Sullivan in a jam. He's the peanut butter to get out of the inning. A beautiful peanut butter jelly sandwich to keep the game tied. I don't know where that analogy came from. Maybe I'm just hungry because I know I'll be able to eat after the game. Anyway, bottom of the seventh inning stretch. Still tied at 0.
This is the University of Tampa. UT students travel from across the nation and around the globe to join a dynamic learning community. There are 150 academic programs, continuing studies for non-traditional students, and a highly ranked graduate school. Division II athletics program.
Rodriguez leads off. Stevens still on the mound. He's going to take this one low for ball one. He had 2 strikeouts and a very good bottom of the 6th last time. 1-1. That slider is absolutely filthy from Stevens. This one ripped to short. A good dive from Gonzalez. I thought that was in the outfield. He actually hit it down. But unfortunately, that's an impossible one to pick up. So Rodriguez is just goes to first on that base hit. And I bet there will be a few checks over at first for Cadenas because he is a very fast runner. But I can tell you the script here. Gutcher's going to bunt it. That's 100% what he's going to do. First baseman even running all the way in. And while he missed the bunt, no one was covering first for a potential throw from Harper. I will say in a spot like that, it's a good idea for Gates to try to close in. See if they can get the lead runner. Easier said than done with Cadenas. 1-0. We'll see Gutcher ready to bunt again. Corner infield going to run in. Taken in the dirt, but Cadenas is going to stay back. Takes a pretty big lead, though. You've got the 1-2-3 hitters due up for the Spartans. Gutcher would like to put a runner in scoring position for them. Combined, they are 1 for 6 today, but the Spartans only have had 3 hits. And one of the players with the hit was just replaced with a pinch runner. Fouled. It's 2-1 now. Just got to survive one more strike if you're Stevens, and then the bunt threat will evaporate. If you're Gutcher, you've got one more chance to lay a bunt down. Otherwise, you're going to have to swing. And even though Tampa definitely has power and they can hit really well, they've also capitalized on small ball quite often this season, so it's not a surprise to see them going back to the roots of small ball here. 2-1. Pickoff. Cadenas is safe. He tried to do a fake throw to get Cadenas to step off the bag for a second. Good idea from Gates, but Cadenas is a veteran. He's not going to get fooled by that one. Inside, Cadenas. Safety barely evaded the tag. That was very risky because that was a great throw by Harper. Not really sure how Cadenas actually dodged the tag, but he did. There's no more debate on the play. 3-1 for Gutcher. You have to be careful because, again, you walk Gutcher, you bring Lala aboard, who's going to do the same thing. This one bunted. It's going to get down. Can Gutcher beat the throw? No. But the job is done. Cadenas is on second base for Jordan Lala. Now, this was a good at-bat from Gutcher because I think it's completely thrown Stevens off his rhythm. He had to deal with a player bunting. He had to deal with pickoff attempts. He's had to deal with everything. He's not riding the good energy that he had in the bottom of the sixth when he was absolutely dominant, getting strikes and keeping the Spartans at bay. And it's for this reason we're going to see not a pitching change, but just a conference on the mound.
In the Midwest area, like in Missouri, Indiana, Illinois, that area. Not too bad. I'll be closer to home. So. We'll see. Yeah, for sure. I wanted to stay, so, but it is what it is.
And we're back, one away. Jordan Lala has got a runner on second. Swing and a miss. He wanted to take the lead on that swing. 0-1. He's drawn 2 walks. It was back in the third and fifth, but he hasn't been able to make it home yet. He flew out back in the first inning. He's got 1 out here. Tampa still hasn't gotten a hit with runners on base. Takes outside, ball 1. A defensive affair for sure. But both teams have recently got some runners in dangerous spots. Paul Sullivan got out of a runners on second and third situation last inning. And now it's going to be up to Stevens to try to get out of this spot with a runner in scoring position. 1 away, though, and now it's a 1-2 count to Lala. Stevens has been pretty dominant with his slider so far. It's been very hard for Spartan hitters to deal with. And now the 1-2 with 1 away. And he's got him swinging. That's the third. No, he tipped it. Wow, that didn't look like a foul ball. That was very close. I just thought that it was dropped by Harper, but no, Lala got a piece of it, barely. But he was once again fooled by the off-speed. 1-2 again. Now it's strikeout number 3 for Stevens. Here comes Drew Earhart. It's going to be tough for Valdosta State. They're going to need another strikeout. Stevens can get them it, but if that gets in play and isn't an immediate out at first, Cadenas is likely going to go all the way home. Umpire calling time really quickly. Now we're ready to go. Oh, that one completely misses. It's going to put Earhart on base with 2 away. The fastball just completely missing. Good news is, $7 p.m. We're approaching the 2-hour mark on the game. Urso swinging a drive, deep left field, but it's caught and dropped. It is dropped in left field. 1 run scores. 2 run scores. It's a 2-0 Spartan lead. Kangita dropped it in left. You gotta feel for him. But Urso, with revenge for the hit by pitch, brings home 2. It likely won't be counted as an RBI, though. Keeping his total for the season at 28. It was a hard hit ball deep, and Kangita just dropped it. And Valdosta State is intentionally walking Dosco. They are not risking it. Here comes Garavito. Valdosta State has more homework on Dosco than any other team. And it's for that reason they're going to give him the free base. Here comes Garavito now with a runner on second and a runner on first with 2 away. Urso had just scored the first runs of the ball game on the air. And just really unfortunate because he had the fly ball read. But again, 1 time out of 100, it'll slip out of the glove. 1-0 now for Garavito. Taken outside, 2-0. They intentionally walked Dosco. The first time I've actually seen an intentional walk this season here at the University of Tampa. But they were clearly worried about Dosco at the plate, and I think for good reason. He's given teams good reason to be worried. 2-0. Low ball 3. And that's unfortunate for Stevens. He would have been out of the inning. And now it's up to him to try to recover. Ball 4, that one just missing high. Despite the frame attempt, the offense could really get going. Bases loaded for Anthony Nunez. There was elation from the dugout as both runners came home, and it was a closer play for Earhart, but he did get home safely. Nunez takes ball 1, and they're quickly warming up a new arm. They can tell that Stevens might be running out of energy here. He's on 29. Here comes his 30th pitch, with the bases loaded. One and one. Now, all outs are force outs in this space, so it is a little bit of an easier situation for the infield. But, of course, you're never going to feel comfortable with the bases loaded like this. Big at-bat for Nunez, the 1-1. The slider again fooling Nunez. He went down looking in the 6th. One of the first strikeout victims from Stevens. Now 1-2. That one inside, and Nunez, I think, a little disappointed with himself. If he didn't try to dodge the pitch, or did so in a less good way, him getting hit would have brought a run home. But now we'll go 2-2. High for ball 3, and Stevens, a pace of disbelief. You heard, I think, a few gasps from the Valdosta State crowd. I don't blame them. That was very close. Full count now for Nunez. He's going to pop this one up. But will it drop? No, Kangita makes the catch, and the inning is over. That was one that could have landed as a blooper, but had enough hang time, and Kangita is able to make the play. But it was an error from him that brought 2 runs home. The Spartans lead by 2 entering the top of the 8th.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you? Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you? Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any...
Cadenas takes center, Lala in left. Those are the changes for the Spartans. They lead 2-0. Sullivan back on the mound. Got out of the jam last time. He let up a hit, had a hit by pitch. He didn't let a runner score. Tampa took the lead in the previous half inning. Lewis, Crawford, Gonzalez, the 3 due up for Valdosta State. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1 for Lewis. Here's Sullivan, the 1-1. Grounded, gets over his head, picked up by Urso. Almost took Dosco off the bag, but he makes the play. And I think it was a smart decision to intentionally walk E.J. Dosco. I made a joke last time comparing him to Barry Bonds. Well, he's put up Bonds numbers to start the season so far. Valdosta State giving him an intentional walk, which is the one thing that Barry Bonds is also quite famous for. Outside, ball 1 very close in that backdoor slider, but obviously I think the umpires might be a little more strict on the pitches, especially after what was a very close ball 3 call in the previous inning. Now it's 2-0 to Crawford. He had a hit back in the 3rd. Grounded out, popped out in the other 2 times. Three and 0. Could get a runner aboard now for Gonzalez. Maybe trying to go for a double play opportunity? I don't know. Well, they will have the double play opportunity. It's a 4-ball walk. And I definitely think someone is going to be warming up for the Spartans soon. Well, Sullivan's got the distance to go a few innings in his games. They got to be ready to make the change if they need to. And this is why I'm kind of critical of them maybe pulling Nelson earlier. This would have been the right spot to do so. Question is, are we going to see the bullpen door open? Here comes Joe Urso to the mound. I don't think they've had anyone warming up yet. So this could just Ross can be the team's hero. We'll be right back.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you? Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you? Being a champion.
And we're back. Dalton Ross in the game. His first opponent is going to be Gonzalez. Crawford's at first after the 4-pitch walk. That prompted the change from Urso. And let's see what Ross can do here. First pitch from Ross. Offered at, but did he go? No, ball one. Here's the 1-0. Misses outside. Ross specializes with the sinker and slider. He's got two very good pitches, and they work well from that slot. Righty hitters have a lot more difficulty facing Ross because of the sidearm release. With two good movement-dependent pitches, this one gets to Lala in the outfield. Runner will head to third. We'll have him at the corner with one away. And now the double play ball is going to be a desperate need here. Otherwise, Valdosta State will put a run on the board. That's going to bring up Gates. He's the team's best hitter. And he's who they want in this situation. He represents a go-ahead run. On first, Gonzalez represents a tying run. That was only the fourth hit of the game for Valdosta State. Swing and a miss there on the sinker. That's the first time he's got the whiff with it. Oh, 0-1. Misses the sinker outside. I think he was trying to get the swing and miss. Good job there by Gutcher, because if that gets away from Gutcher, a run scores. That wasn't the easiest one to get. 1-1. Fouled. 1-2. Tampa will have a chance in the bottom of the 8th, no matter what. And there will, of course, be the top of the 9th. Valdosta State would love to try to force a bottom of the 9th spot with control of the lead. They got their best hitter out here. Now here's the 1-2. Grounded up the middle. And Earhart not ready. Sorry, Urso wasn't ready. Runner's going to actually head to third. The tying run is 90 feet from home. That was a potential double play ball, but miscommunication at second base lets it get through. And as Nunez wasn't at third, Gonzalez saw the opportunity and makes it there. It's a 2-1 game. And that is disappointing for the Spartans. The Blazers will now send up Adams. He came on as a pinch runner. Now is a chance to try to take the lead. He's going to try to bunt. Wow, he was going for a suicide squeeze in this spot. I like the squeeze play. I'm an enjoyer of that. But that definitely surprised me. Let's see if he actually does go for it. He will drop the bunt. The play at the plate, and it gets wide. It is tied, and runners are at the corners. Ross tried to flip it with his glove and missed. It's the squeeze in 2023. Valdosta has tied it. If you were hoping that the Spartans were going to win this in a somewhat more easy fashion, well, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. We're back level. And it's still 1 out and runners at the corners. It's not, well, I mean, it is actually going to be an error on Ross, I believe. But it's not necessarily Ross's fault. They've just been hitting well enough. And Gutcher with some signs to Ross. Okay, now my question is, with Gates, do they try it again? They're going to make a pinch runner here? They're making another change. And they're actually going to pinch run, I believe, Adams, who came in the game as a pinch runner. They're going to now bring in another pinch runner. This time, Devin Tedders. He's had 14 games this season, but hasn't started a single one. What they have to be ready for is for him to steal second. What Gutcher needs to do is hold the ball. He cannot risk that runner from third going home on the throw. He needs to let him steal second and trust Ross to get the 2 outs. Gutcher's going to throw to second, and it was a clean enough throw that runner at third couldn't make it, although it was actually not fielded cleanly by Arceau. So if Gates did try it, he would have been safe. So runners at third and second now. Here's the 1-0. Taken outside, ball 1. And Tampa's actually going to intentionally walk Kangita. Kangita was at the plate, hoping to get some revenge and make up for the error earlier. But now Kangita will get to first. Tampa is desperate for the double play ball. Every base is an out. We're tied with 1 away. And there is going to be a pinch hitter? I think so. Joy is going to be headed back to the dugout. And here he is. It's going to be Jacob Sessa, number 15, the second best hitter for Valdosta State. He was starting on the bench, and they're bringing him here with the bases loaded. They want him to give them the lead. 1-0 taken low. This one ripped. Valdosta will score 1 and 2. Maybe 3 if they can beat the throw. He is safe. A bases clearing triple. I said, why weren't you starting him? Nah, they weren't starting him. They were saving him. It's 5-2 Blazers. The second pitch he sees is ripped right down the line. Nothing Dosco can do. And Valdosta State has exploded with a 5-run inning. Here comes Gandy, and you got to feel for Dalton Ross. That's just the perfect hit. Even holding a runner, that's a very hard play, as this one's going to be taken low for ball 1. This one hit up the middle. It's a base hit. 6-2. And Gandy's going to get on base for the first time. Here comes Harper. And things have gone from good to, well, I guess not that good for the Spartans. 6 runs have scored. And poor Dalton Ross. Gandy gets the single. He's on first, and here comes Harper. One away. Runner goes. Gutcher's throw to second. Did they get him? No, they did not. Gandy will steal second. Deep inside, ball 1. It's a 1-1 count. This one popped up. It should be the second out for Dalton Ross. Earhart tracks back to get it. Runner was about to tag up, but Earhart made sure he stayed. Here comes Urso, and that'll be it for Dalton Ross. I think they're going to bring in potentially Serrata or a left-handed pitcher. Hey, keep your head up, Dalton. A lot of that was out of your control. Dalton will also, unfortunately, be credited with the current loss. If this decision stands, the Spartans will need 4 runs and 6 outs. But Dalton gets a good show from his teammates as he exits the game. One of the first times we've seen Dalton Ross have a not great outing. It's a rarity. So that's unfortunate for Dalton, but we know he'll be back next time. We know he'll be better than ever. And you'd rather have a blow-up outing like this in the regular season than in the postseason, for sure. We're getting among that era. It's still going to be a month or 2 back. But if you're going to have a blow-up start, you'd rather it now than later. Cameron Serrata enters the game. He's the type of guy I'd love to see more often in high-leverage spots for the Spartans. He's done great through 6 innings, 10 strikeouts, no walks. And we'll be right back as he warms up.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass. Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you? Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you? Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability
Well, I was still muted. I turned myself down as it was a little late to break. I apologize. Valdosta State not happy. Gandy with a heads-up play trying to steal a base when Serrato was taking too long. But instead, he gets thrown out, and that ends the inning. We'll be back to bottom of the 8th right after this.
I am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
I commit to both choosing unity personally and encouraging it for all.
I pledge these things because we are stronger together.
United as one.
Pledge.
I
am an NCAA student athlete.
And I pledge to be a champion of unity
On my team, on my campus, and in my community.
I pledge to embrace differences and strive for inclusion and collaboration.
I pledge to stand against racism, hate, and discrimination.
I pledge to strive for love, care, and forgiveness.
I pledge to stand against silence, deceit, and obscurity.
I pledge to strive for dialogue, truth, and understanding.
I pledge to stand against fear and doubt.
I pledge to strive for trust and belief in one another.
I pledge to stand against complacency and stagnancy.
I pledge to strive for change and growth.
I commit to supporting my fellow student athletes in all circumstances that impact them.
And we are back. E.J. Cumbo, Cadenas, Gutcher, the 3-2 up for the Spartans. They trail by 4, and they've got 6 outs remaining. Entering the game for Valdosta State is Brandon Radin, and all right, let's have a go at this. We've had a lot of infield changes. Gandy is out in right field, Crawford in center field, Kanagita in left, Gates at first, Morgan at second, Gonzalez at short, Lewis in third. There may have been a few changes that haven't been updated yet, but that's what it says on my screen. And, well, okay, we've got one of the changes. Alfonso's at short, another change. Not yet, actually. But Alfonso has come in as the shortstop replacement as Cumbo fouls this one off. He's down 0-2 quickly. The lefty-on-lefty matchup is going to be hurting Cumbo here. He did hit a walk-off off a lefty not too long ago. He's going to foul this one away, staying alive. Radin had a 9.45 ERA entering the game. 5 strikeouts to 4 walks. Overall, not bad performances. I think he's been babbipped to death more often than not. Spartans are going to hope for that result today. Taken outside 1 and 2. It's 1 to 2. Inside 2 and 2. Missed up high. And now we got the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Cumbo went for a slider. Here comes Jose Cadenas. Cadenas, one of the better hitters for the Spartans. Because he can get on base and he has the speed to run it out. Only hitting .273 in his 22 at-bats. But when he gets on base, he is a problem. And I wonder if he's going to try to drop a bunt to get the offense going. He has the ability to do so. Good frame outside, strike 1. 0-1 now to Cadenas. Wow, I thought the first one was a ball, and this one would have been a strike, but that's the same outcome. It's 1-1. High, ball 2. It's 2-1. 7:28 p.m. now. Sun still shining, but will be going down not too long from now. So maybe the lights will actually get some action after all. I speculated that we'd only see sundown in the game, and honestly, I did not anticipate the hectic top of the 8th. Strike 2, Cadenas was ready for ball 4. The outside pitch has been 50-50 all night. And now we got a full count. That one's hit foul. Urso having to dance out of the way. Cadenas is a longtime veteran for the Spartans. We're happy to have had him back this season. And let's see what he can do to try to get on board. Full count. This one's hit down the right field line. Does it stay fair? Yes, it does. Cadenas will go for extra bases. He's being waved to third. That throw is a bit errant, but it will roll to third. A sliding triple for Jose Cadenas. That's one of the things you'll love to see. A perfect blooper down the line, and Cadenas turns on the Jets. Here's Danny Gutcher. That's a way you start out. Even with one away, you can still bring a run home and try to make the job a little easier. Another reliever warming up for Valdosta State. They won't hesitate to make the change if they have to. Taken low. And the ump's going to say that Gutcher went around. That was really close. Now the count's going to go to Gutcher down early. This one's in the dirt. Harper's on top of it. This one gets away, but in the wrong direction. Cadenas has made some risky base stealing attempts before, but not risky enough to try Harper that time. 2-2. And it's a full count. Gutcher has worked it full. Fouled back, so we'll go again. A big high leverage count for Danny. The music was saying staying alive, and indeed that is what Gutcher has been doing. Full count again. Gutcher goes down, though, this time. Couldn't get a piece of it. That's going to bring up Jordan Lala with 2 away. It's Jordan Lala. Spartans only have 4 outs left. They do not have a lot of wiggle room. Oh, 0-1. Lefty on lefty. It's a disadvantage for Jordan Lala. This time he'll bring the run home. It's Jordan Lala with a hit up the middle. Signs of life being shown. That brings up Earhart. It guarantees that Garavito will have an at-bat later in the game. And you want to get the good bats of the Spartans up as long as you can. And by the way, I think this will be a pitching change. Braden did good to get 2 strikeouts. but it's just an emergency call with no lefties coming up. We'll take a quick break and tell you who's coming in for Valdosta State. Runner on, 2 away. Tampa can try to cut the deficit even more.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa. This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa. This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa. This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams.
And we're back. It's the bottom of the 8th. The Spartans brought home 1, but they still need 3 more. Drew Earhart is going to be batting here. Earhart now. He's got a runner on first. Carson Queso has dubbed him the hitter he'd least like to face in a high-leverage spot, so you don't envy the job that Martins has. By the way, Earhart was actually looking to bunt on that first pitch. And by the way, it is indeed Martins who enters the game for Valdosta State. He has a 3.07 ERA. He's had 14 2/3, 12 strikeouts to 7 walks. Strike 2 taken low. Oof. I think it just barely broke over the plate in time, but that was going low, so very interesting to see right there. So now we've got an 0-2 count. And this time Earhart holds up. It's 1-2. They can't try a bunt this time, but that doesn't mean Earhart's not going to be a threat. He's been quiet today, but he did get hit by a pitch back in the 7th. Might want a little revenge for that one. Taken low, 2-2. Good take there from Earhart. Not the easiest pitch to lay off of. Two away with a runner on. A 2-2 count for Tampa's number 2. Strike 3 goes down looking. He guessed wrong. Tampa cuts the deficit to 3, but Valdosta State looking good entering the 9th. Off the top half first, due up is the 9 1-2 hitters. We'll be back.
Welcome to the University of Tampa. In this video, I'll be giving you an overview.
Lewis leads up for Valdosta State. Last time up, they took the lead. They lead 6-3. Yeah, I got a feel for Dalton Ross, just a bit of BABIP to death. The biggest play for Valdosta State in the inning against him came when coming in as a pinch hitter. Their number 15, Jacob Sessa, hit a line drive down the line to score all 3 runs. It was part of the 6-run inning, sorry. 0-2 now from Sereda to Lewis. Sereda's got him swinging, strike 1. He came on to get the final out in the previous inning, and he didn't even need a pitch with it. Gandy tried to steal third, but was caught by just a little. Another lefty's going to step up now. It's Alfonso. No, actually, is it Alfonso or no? No, sorry, it's Crawford. I thought the stats hadn't updated yet. Alfonso is on deck. Crawford's going to send this one to center, but Cadenas will make the catch. Now, Connor Morgan should be up here now. Number 32. I believe he'll be entering as a pinch hitter. Yes. So as a pinch hitter, let's see what Morgan can do with 2 away. Sereda had a quick start to the inning. Taken outside, ball 1. Fouled away, it's 1-1. It would be a save situation for Tampa to try to avoid entering the bottom of the 9th. Outside, 2-1. It's the only game in the series these teams will play. Valdosta State would love to get revenge. The next time they'd face potentially would be the national tournament, where they faced off last time. 3-1 from Sereda. They've got Gates on deck. Ball 4. It's going to put Connor Morgan on first. And Gates now steps up. Here's the first pitch to Gates from Sereda. Swung on and missed, strike 1. Another lefty advantage. Tampa finally able to take advantage of all the lefties throughout Valdosta State's lineup with Sereda on the mound. In the dirt, runner goes and will be safe. And so Morgan now at second. Gates 1-1 in the count. And with the stolen base, Urso's actually going to intentionally walk Gates for Tetters to get the platoon or force yet another change. Pretty much gone through like the entire bench for Valdosta State. It'll be another pinch hitter, number 22 this time. And he is making his debut. We have gotten that deep into the substitutes that we are actually going to be seeing a debut here with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Jose Cristostomo Bach, the junior from Las Arenas, and previously at Miami-Dade College. He hasn't played this season. He's come on as a fielder twice. Hit .308 last season. So decent hitter off the bench. See what he does with 2 aboard. Foul back, 0-1. He took that first swing. He's not scared to get back in the batter's box. And as I mentioned, it is his first at-bat of the season. Whether it's because he's been injured or whether it's because they've been rotating or not, I'm not sure. But he'll get his debut of the year, 0-2. One more strike and Serrato would be out of the inning. And we'd enter last chance for the Spartans. See if Serrato can do it on this pitch. Fouled. At the end of the day, Valdosta has only stranded 5 runners. The Spartans have stranded 11. That's probably going to be a big factor in a Spartan defeat if they can't come back. 0-2. Strike 3 goes down looking, and Serrato wraps up the inning with another strikeout. So, bottom of the 9th, due up for the Spartans, Urso, Dasco, Garavito. It'll be an interesting finish to the game. We'll be back with more. You're watching TampaSpartans.tv.
Pipe organ as well.
6-3. Spartans have one last chance. 3 final outs. Urso, Dasco, Garavito due up. Mertens in with a save opportunity. Came on to relieve damage last time. Taken low for strike 1. I have to say, it's been weird to tell what are going to be strikes and balls all day. Going from pitcher-friendly to hitter-friendly to vice versa, time and time again. But honestly, that's just the game of baseball. And that's why I'm up in the booth. It's a lot harder down there than up here. I can look from a distance and point and laugh, but really, I know nothing about umpiring. 1-1. Inside, but called a strike, 1-2. The 1-2 for Urso. Takes that slider outside. It's 2-2. This one's going to be grounded and picked up at first by Gates. 1 away. Just got on top of it. And went right to Gates. Here comes Dasco, and they're going to... .48 p.m. here at the University of Tampa. The last few innings have been very chaotic. Spartans hoping they don't go out with a whimper here. Strike 1 taken on the slider. Dasco got a hit and a walk earlier. It was an intentional based on balls he was received in the 7th. Struck out and lined out earlier. 1-1 on a close one. What's funny is that those pitches were being called strikes for Urso. That's probably the upset calls from the Valdosta fans. Seeing this one be a ball for Dosco. The 1-1. Taken low, 2-1. Swung on and missed. It's 2-2 for Dosco. They need something to keep the game alive. They do have Garavito on deck, of course. I know the fans would love to see Dosco strike here. The 2-2. Misses up high. Full count. Dosco rips it to center, but it's playable. 2 away. Crawford with the catch. Garavito and the Spartans are down to their final out. Their winning streak could come to a crashing halt here. A high-powered top of the 8th, breaking through the Spartan defense, has put them down 3 with 1 out to go. Strike 1 taken. Mertens opened with the fastball. If Garavito keeps the game alive, it's Nunez on deck. Combined, though, the duo is 0 for 7. Garavito had a walk back in the 7th, 1-1. The 1-1 from Mertens. Swung on and missed. Tampa down to their final strike. Valdosta State 1 strike away from some mid-season revenge. They were eliminated by the Spartans here last season, and now on the turf field, they're 1 strike away. 2-2. Spartans are measly 2 for 11 with 2 out. They only have 5 hits in the game, so 2 hits with 2 outs isn't too bad, but they're going to need a third right here. 2-2. Here's Mertens. Grounded to third. All it'll take is a good throw. And Valdosta State take the victory. Mertens, a 1-1 third inning save with a strikeout. The victory for pitching, I believe, will be going to Stevens. Radin might be credited with part of the hold. But ultimately, Valdosta State improves with a victory here. They will exit today with the record of 15-8, Tampa 17-4. It's a shame for the Spartans, but for the Blazers, they fought hard and they came away with the W. Dosco, unfortunately, will get a few, I think, laughs and a couple I told you so's from his teammates, but obviously another handshake too. A hard-fought, fun game, pitching offense that had it all. See you next time for Spartans baseball. They'll be on the road. You can check that out on Sunshine State Conference TV as they face Florida Southern. For Valdosta State, they'll be also on the road. They'll be taking on Christian Brothers in Tennessee. That'll be it for today's stream. I'm Taylor Storworthy. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next time.